Guys, it's me again. Okay, so it's time. It's time I talk about time. Okay, so I'm coming on today. I would do this standing, but I had a very intense injury last week on Friday where I had a killer baseball game. Got the biggest pop-up fly, had a couple 3-baggers, everything was going well, and then something happened and my calf gave out, so I've been kind of crippled this whole week. So I would stand and present this, but you guys got to bear with me. I'm just taking a seat. And I'm going to play some music while I do this because this is hypothetics time with Ashley. This is going to be a doozy, all right? And you know what? I might get blocked out of some places. I don't have a big enough following to get blocked out, so I like to pump some tunes while I do my thought processes. Okay, so we're going to be talking about time. Why I'm bringing up time is because I feel like it's one of those things that we all face in our lives. You know what I'm saying? It's basically like we all hear about, oh, it's God's timing, or it's the right timing, or it's not the right timing. Timing comes up a lot, right? So why I wanted to talk about time, I'll give you 2 reasons why, okay? I've thought a lot about this. When I was young, I used to get a lot of premonitions. Like, as you guys may know, I'm a higher self channeler. That's one of my sets of skills now. But when I was young, I used to have a lot of premonitions. And if you guys don't know what premonitions are, it's when you actually like live, eat, breathe, sleep a moment in a future timescape that will come to pass. But it's like at the moment that I was receiving them before the situation came out, I would literally feel like I was being downloaded. And if you don't know what a download is, it feels like literally like what, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember floppy disks. But when you used to put a floppy disk in your computer, it would go like tick, 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 tick. That's usually what would happen with my premonitions. So the reason why I'm bringing up premonitions is because it has this like future aspect to it that I wanted to talk about. So our friend time, right? So you have your past, right? Past. You have what I like to call the eternal now. All right, eternal now. And then we have our future, la futuro. La futuro bene, right? Okay, so the reason why I'm bringing these 3 things up is because we perceive them as human beings going through the motion of life. What I've been noticing, because here, I'll give you guys another example. Since I'm a channeler, or have been a channeler, what I think actually happens when I'm channeling sometimes with a higher self is the higher self is giving me sometimes like we'll open up a page of a predestined situation for somebody and I get to preview it or preview it before the person comes to that situation in their future self sense. Okay. And I'll give you an example of one that just happened recently and it was pretty iconic for me because it was weird to actually see that premonitory thing happen. I actually had that whole download thing again. And I'm telling you, this has a point. So please, I just have to explain this. So I have a client who in a reading I did for like 6-8 months ago, I was like, are you planning to go to Paris? I see you in front of the Eiffel Tower, like posing, taking pictures in front of the Eiffel Tower, right? And she's like, well, I really do like French things, but no plans in the makeup. But I could not kick the fact that I fully saw this woman in front of the Eiffel Tower. So I told her about it in the reading, right? And as of 2 weeks ago, she was turning 50 and her family was so gracious enough to send her to Paris. So here I am looking through my Facebook feed and there she is in front of the Eiffel Tower. And I'm like, that's the fucking picture I saw in my, the vision I saw. So it started like getting me scrambling with all these thoughts about time. And I truly feel like now is the eternal now, right? We're always living in the eternal now. What that means is that there is no way for us to really go back in time and there's no way to actually skip ahead to the future, right? Now is all we have. And even though I've said this word right now, it's already passed. And it's again, so that's why I feel like when it comes to manifestation or anything about true power comes from this idea of the eternal now. If we spend our time thinking about future perspective, it's not useful and it's not really good to linger in past thoughts because it's not even going to present itself as useful at all. So the energy you're spending to do this or that is kind of wasted. So that's why it's like if you're going to manifest, you always have to manifest in the eternal now. But because of the job I do, or because of the career, the spiritual career I'm in, and having such a deep, profound understanding of let's say gifts, you know, like I had premonitory gifts, I was able to see on the other side for a lot of period of time, but this is the actual way I want to shape time. And I can't draw for beans, so don't laugh at me, but this is going to be a really good explanation, I think. So let's say, for example, this is a train, right? This is my version of a train. Here's the front of the train, the middle of the train, the end of the train. You could put more windows, you know what I mean? And let's say this is the front, right? And this is the back. I hope I haven't lost you guys yet, but this is really cool. So here's the track, and let's say we call this a timeline, right? And you're on this perpetual timeline, right? And if you guys have never seen me before and this is your first time, hello. But if this is not your first time, hello, day oneers and to day nowers. But if you do want to help out the channel, just like, share, subscribe. It helps out the channel. It's not hard to do. And if you do want to ever donate, I have some donation links, mainly to... I'm going to actually put Nature Jabs in there so that you guys can go donate to his What Ups. And also I have for the Toronto homeless. And for myself and my future projects. But that is going to happen regardless. So if you want to help me out. And I'm going to start getting products on both of my channels. So look out for that in the next months to come. But if you also want to up, higher, heal, and channel in, shoot me an email or find me at this. You know, I always have to put these in now, right? So let's say you have this luscious person here, this luscious person here. You have this luscious person here, and you have this luscious person here with the lovely hair. Okay. So the thing I want to bring up is because if you do look at a train, and I'll put it up right now. Okay, you're back. You notice that the front and the back, right, are in two different positions within the train. However, you will respondively get to the destination at the same time. So it doesn't matter if you're in the front of the train or the back of the train, you will still get to the destination at the same time. Even though the front person may perceive the location faster, the person at the back will also perceive the location at the same time. And you will arrive at the same time, same as the middle person. Okay? So what I'm trying to correlate life with is that your life is kind of like a train. Okay? This person at the front could be your 2-year-old self, let's just say. This could be your 10-year-old, your 11, your 30th, your 35, your 40th, your 50th, and let's say you get to the golden age of 70, right? This means that the 2-year-old self is happening at the same time as the 70, same time as the 10, same time as the 35. It's like we're on this constant revolution, much like a train, that this total encapsulation is your life. It's, in a sense, predestined to arrive at a destination at whatever given time. But time is this liquid, I would say, like a liquid, ubiquitous illusion. Because realistically, it's the perceiver, right? It's the perceiver. Like right now, I'm, supposedly by our, Julian calendar, I'm going to be 40 in September. But that doesn't mean that my 1-year-old self doesn't exist right now, that there isn't a 70-year-old version of me existing right now in this eternal now, because we have to remember the eternal now is all that we have. So the thing is that the train is revolutionizing within the eternal now. It doesn't do this and it doesn't go to the future. It always stays in perpetual motion in the eternal now. So all wheels are revoluting at the exact same time. So it's like as if you're a train that's always moving within time, but it means that all versions of self, right, exist at all time of the eternal now. So when people say like, oh, are you seeing into the future? From what my channelings have kind of helped me understand is like, I'm not really seeing in the future. If this train was always destined to go to a certain destination, let's say at all points in time, right? I might just be going from caboose to caboose. Like when my higher self or the higher self that I'm interacting with is maybe just showing me a version or a site. of like like opening a page of the Akashic of your eternal life train, right? That I'm perceiving or I'm purview to see. So it doesn't mean that it's happening in the future, perhaps. It's like there's a version of my client in Paris while I'm giving her the reading at the same time, what's seemingly in the past. The future of her and the present of her are all moving on the same train. And I hope I didn't lose anybody, but this is the way I perceive time, or I'm beginning to perceive time more so and more so. And the reason why this is so important is because I feel that, sometimes I think that we can control fate or we can change destiny. But as time goes on, I don't think that's actually the case. I personally believe that when we come into this life, we've already written our story. We've already written our story or our timeline, right? If you want to look at the track as a timeline. It's not to say that you can't jump to the next chapter and the chapter might be on a different timeline, right? And it's not to say, but the thing is what I believe is that the train was always destined to go to the next timeline or the timeline before that. So it doesn't matter what timeline you're truly on. The book or the train itself was always going to be going to those destinations regardless. Timeline that matters. It's that you're actually perceiving the correct situation. Because I can't shake the fact, like I've told you guys before, even when I kicked off with my abilities and God gave me that dual situation, I think that there were two versions of me, one that took the path and one that didn't. And what happened is that eventually, because here's another theory that you guys might not believe, but I personally feel like two parallel lines eventually cross. Okay. I know that some science and some physics dictates that they're parallel, but there is some physics that decrees that two parallel lines will potentially intercede, given a horizon. So that's what I mean is like, it doesn't matter if the train of you is going on either one, they're going to clash and meet at that given time. It's like they merge into the same time space continuum. But what I'm trying to say is that you as the train, or all the different versions of you, or the multiverse theorem, exactly, all versions of you coinciding will meet up at these apex points and you'll end up on the same track regardless, right? And some part of me feels like that there is this merging that continues on, but at the same time, because they can't shake the feeling, like no matter how many readings they do, when I get people that come to me like a year later, like, oh, what you told me it happened now. And I'm there like, wow. So was it that I was seeing the future, or was it that it was predestined to happen? And that's a conundrum in itself. But I'll give you another example of why I think it's not a conundrum. Ugh. So just bear with me, guys. Okay, now this is going to be a mindfuck. I'll give you that one. And I'm pretty sure this is one that all of you guys can relate to. Here's an alarm. Beep, beep, beep. No, an alarm clock. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, now this is the dream. Okay, so let's say you're having a dream, right? And then all of a sudden, so it's like you at the cafe, let's just say having the coffee, then some crisis occurs, right? A dream usually always consists of some crisis or some situation, just like most good stories do. And then there comes an apex point, and then you continue on. And then what's ironic is that somehow during the dream, you'll end up at, let's say, you'll have to pick up a bomb in the dream. This is just an example of what I mean, because there's so many different ways that this can be expressed, but I'm just giving you an example. You pick up the bomb, and the bomb is going 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and when it gets to the 5, it's going beep, beep, beep. It starts beeping. Or how many of you have had this scenario? It's just you again, chilling in the morning, let's just say. And then you're on the bus. And then you're in front of school. And then you're at school. And then the bell goes off for school. Something like that. And isn't it funny that the bell or the bomb or whatever situational you want to put it leads up to your alarm? Have you guys ever thought about this? It's like, how did you think you're starting here, right, in your dream? And maybe you don't remember the whole dream, but you know that you went all through the dream and then somehow you ended up at the beep, 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 beep. It's like, did the dream start and then integrate the alarm or the bomb or the bell into your dream? So what takes place here is that did your, let's say, subconscious, all right, take heed to knowing exactly when 7:15 was going to occur, like as if there's there's a soul you that's watching your clock and is devising the dream. There's that theory, right? Where your subconscious knows what time 7:15 is and they mastered the dream so that it would hit at the exact time that your bell goes off on your alarm. Or here's the other wild one. And this is how I think time works. The alarm triggers the dream, wait for it, backwards. The reason why I say this is because when I was younger, I used to get premonitions. And I'm being honest. This is why I'm saying time is one of those like mind fucks you can't really, fuck about. It's like, I will probably spend most of my life, but maybe you guys are onto something like this too, and maybe this just jogs something into your way of thinking, or maybe you've actually never postulated or thought about time this way, and I'm just messing with you just for the shits and giggles of it. But I always thought, because of my past when I was a kid and I used to have premonitions, well, premonitions were like, I'll be honest, it was like, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember floppy disks, but you would put a floppy disk into a computer and it would, when you would download something on the floppy, it would be like tick, 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 tick. Like there was that sensation of like actual data being implanted on the disk. That's kind of how it used to feel in my brain. When I would have a premonition, it was like I would freeze in time and then I would literally get downloaded. Like it was the sights, the smells, the air, the sounds, everything that was going to take place in the premonition. And it was like I would have to like stop and be like, ah. And then it was like tick, 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 tick. It was like I was being downloaded in such an old school way of like this imprint of time. It was like as if I was being like smacked in my brain with an imprint of time. So what I realized sometimes when I would have these dreams, because when I would have premonitions when I was young, right, it always seemed like it was working backwards. And so that's why when I started having dreams where this would occur, I started realizing, I was like, what if the dreams are to our perception backwards? You know what I mean? And then I was like, oh my gosh, what if that's what's really happening? It's like as if the alarm, right? The alarm is what triggers the whole entire dream. So your perception of where it starts is actually the end. It's like until the alarm happens, because my downloads when I would have premonitions would be all of like a millisecond. It was like I would feel like it was like a lot longer, but to the seemingly world of this ubiquitous time, like I could look at my watch when it was happening. It was like literally a second would go by, but a whole download of like, let's say 3 minutes of time would get downloaded into my brain within the matter of 1 second. So it's like if I could get a whole 3 minutes in 1 second downloaded, who's to say that alarm that takes about 20 seconds to go off, let's say beep, 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 till your actual peripheral and all of your senses react to it, couldn't actually encapture like a whole hour of a scenario. So there's that thought as well, because I truly feel like in this time, as we move through the eternal now, we're all trying to harness most of the power we can for manifestation, or to embody what it means to be part of the I am. And the I am can only be found in the eternal now. I find myself to be the most powerful when I can sit in a moment, when I can feel a breeze, when I can watch the breeze in the trees, when I can watch a leaf move, when I can watch an ant walk on the leaf, when I can watch an ant pick up a piece of leaf that's walking on a leaf. And if you can harness yourself into that one freeze frame moment, and you can feel the earth move, and you can feel everything, the chills in your goosebumps, if you can feel the breath, if you can feel everything in that instance, your I am is the most powerful it could ever be. And it's because we take focus on it. That's why breath work is so important. I don't know if you guys formulate breath work, but it's to bring you and harness you into that I am state, which is the eternal now. So I thought I'd bring up time because I think it's about time. But Also, to boot, what I wanted to say was like what happened to me on Friday with my injury. I personally think it took place for, a masterminding reason. Because a lot of us, we talk about this, God's timing and all of that. And the thing is that last year, if you guys watch me, I got pretty injured last summer too. So it seems like this summer injury thing is becoming redundant. But I think it's also because when I had my injury last year, it actually was a blessing in disguise. And I didn't know until after the fact, until the alarm worked its way backwards. Because what happened with my injury last year, if you guys don't know, I took a pretty big spill. I cracked my back on a metal encasement of a patio door. Long story, but after all the swelling went down, I noticed my sciatica had dissipated. I had bad sciatica for about 2 years after my son, and I mean to the point that I had shingles. And the fact is that injury was so tremendous. I was bruised on my back, couldn't go to the gym, couldn't do anything for like a month. And then all of a sudden, as it dissipated, I realized it was like, wow, I must have hit the nerve that was, forcing all that pain on my sciatica, and it just all dissipated. And this year, I think that this injury had a purpose to slow me down, because I feel like sometimes, if you guys aren't aware, God, if you're not going in the flow, or you're going maybe a little too quickly, God sometimes can slow us down. And sometimes it's because we're not listening. It's kind of like God will say to you, like, hey, take your time. There's no rush. There's no nothing. And then you keep rushing through because your ego self is like, no, I can get this done. I can, power through it. And what will happen is you'll exhaust yourself and you'll burn out. But some of us can go through the burnout and still keep ticking. And sometimes, if that's the case, sometimes God's like, you know what? I'm going to take the carpet from under your legs, and then I'm going to sit your ass down. So I think that's what happened to me with this leg. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think right now is very crucial. It's a very crucial eternal now time that we're all going through. Because I will say this, in this last week that I've been injured, I've had 2 severe instances and incidents where, had I not been injured, I probably would have been walking too fast, or I would have been in my car. Whatever this injury did was that it kind of put me in the right point of existence in order to endure what I went through this week. So sometimes if you're somebody that's like, oh, why did God injure me? Or why am I in this injured state? Sometimes you don't know about the blessing that comes with an injury, and just please understand that it's God just sitting your ass down, because that's where you need to be to go through what the next level is, or the next sequences, or the next situation is for you. So it's like, please don't take it as a negative thing. It's actually in your best interest sometimes when you get injured, because God's just basically saying, slow your roll. I'm going to slow it down for you. So you're even, because why I'm saying this is because I don't know. I gotta say this out to you guys. I went through two huge upgrades. So for the last several weeks, I've been feeling a lot of pressure on my third eye. And for those of you out there, maybe you guys are trying to get your third eye on, much like myself. I mean, I have a version of it on, but not my old version. Not the one where I could see dead people and souls and aliens and all that jazz. So I've missed it tremendously. And if you don't believe me, boo-hoo for you. Because it's actually very terrifying to have your true seeing through the veil, because you wouldn't even believe what the hell is going on the other side of the veil, or you wouldn't even believe what's going on when you're in paralysis, or you wouldn't even believe what's going on around your house or looking up at space if you have this thing hot and heavy seeing through the veil, just piercing through. It's amazing. You can see people coming through portals. You can see people coming, like, literally, you know what portals look like? It's like as if somebody had 2 curtains and they just opened the curtains, and there's like the curtain is themselves are a little electrified, and they like literally, it's like 2 merging worlds. You guys don't, if you do know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then please, like, just understand, for those that do have this piercing, beautiful eye on, there's beauty you could see with it. You could do a lot of astral travel with it. You could, come out of your body. Like, I used to be, lying in my bed, and then I would just come out, meaning like I would actually leave my body. I could look at my body, and then I would walk in my etheric spirit body, and I could walk around my house. I could put my arms through walls, whatnot, or whatever the case may be. And then by the, blink of an eye of thought, I could go wherever the hell I wanted to go. So if you are someone trying to get your third eye on, that's what's going to take place. But I will say this, if you're someone under paralysis, please, 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 if you don't have your eye on, just pray to Jesus. Just get those grays off of you. Just get those douchebags away, because all they're doing is sucking up all of your sphere energy. But that's on a different tangent. But so I've been feeling the pressure in my eye for these last weeks, and I'm like, yay, because I'm like, the first time I came on, it didn't happen like that, but I know that the pressure in the middle of my forehead is a good sign. And then because it was injured, I when I went through these two upgrades, I was at least somewhere where I wouldn't hurt myself further. So I was literally like hobbling, going to the mall because I had to go get a gift for somebody. And I literally like because I was walking so slow, I wasn't racing towards the mall or going at a speed. So I was going really slow, because had I been at a regular speed, I probably would have bashed my head against the cement when this happened, like hit a corner, because what happened was this upgrade hit me. It literally felt like the inside of my body and everything else, it's like as if my soul got rebooted, because one, it was like as if this huge heavy like energy just shifted through me, like it like took my soul with it for a split second, and then my soul went up, got upgraded, and then got put back into me. And then when it got put back into me, I literally looked around like I had amnesia. I'm looking around at people going, where am I? What is this? What's happening? I had to sit on the asphalt. That's how bad this was. Like, it was like my body was doing this. Like, I was shaking to the point I was like, ugh. And I was like having a diabetic like shakedown. That's what it felt like, because I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant. So if you have had any of this, please message me if you've been having upgrades recently. But anyways, so I literally was sitting on the asphalt of the mall parking lot. But had I been walking faster and this had happened to me, I know I would have been like, timber, and I would have bashed my head on whatever projectile, whatever, curb was available at the time, or I would have like collapsed in the mall, whatever it was. So I feel like sometimes these injuries that we receive are in our best nature, in our best responses, because the upgrade I faced, it was like as if my soul got taken, put back in, and then when I got rebooted, it took me about a minute or two to realize where the hell I was, like as if I had Alzheimer's. It was nuts. It was like as if I stood there, and then finally that larger version of me, like I would imagine my higher self is the one who did it, who plucked me out to bring me somewhere on my stream and then put me back down. But I was not truly aware of it. That's how fast the time frame, the eternal now, was working in my favor. And then I got put back in the body, and I was just like, whoa, where am I? And then 2 days ago, the same thing happened again. I was coming into my apartment, and I was holding a cup of coffee. I literally fell on the ground again. Like, I couldn't even hold my body, and I had to sit down, and I'm looking at my cup, and I'm like, what is this? Like, as if I didn't understand what was in my cup, like what this foreign object was and what the liquid was inside of my cup. And I'm looking around at my stairwell, and I'm like, where am I? What is this? It was like, what planet am I on? So again, I was being like brought and then put back in again, and it was intense and it was insane. I honestly have never felt like that. Like, I've never had upgrades that intense, but all I know is that, like, I asked what the hell was that after I came to, and I was all not disheveled anymore, and my higher self was like, oh, that was an upgrade. I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I think it's because I'm injured that I survived these, because if I had been going down my stairs as fast as I usually would have, I would have probably tumbled right down those cement stairs. Yeah. If I had been going at the same rate like I usually was when this hit me, I would have shaken. My whole body would have gone to jello like the first time, and I would have collapsed down those flight of stairs. So the fact that I was going super hobbly slow, and I had time to like sit my ass down, because of how slow I was going, was probably in my best bet. So that's what I'm saying when it comes to like that whole train thing. It's like it's already predestined to happen. The situations that happen to you sometimes are blessings. And I didn't foresee that this was the blessing. And I think this was the blessing because when I sat there and I came to again and I was like, holy crap, what are these like upgrades? They're devastating in terms of how you feel. I really feel like me being injured and so slow was the reason why I didn't catapult into a bigger or more lethal method of injury. So that's my take on time. I just wanted to kind of kick it with you guys because I am injured. I'm not doing nothing yente for this weekend, and I probably won't be doing much for the rest of the week. Like obviously I can drive around, but like I can't go. Like there was a Spanish festival I saw today when I was driving home, and I'm like, oh, and I was like, oh, I can't even dance, I can't even stand, I can't even. So I'm saying like I'll be probably like in this mode of of operation for the next week, and I'll see if I get any more of these upgrades. But if you're someone who's experiencing these upgrades, please let me know. I'm sure a lot of us ascending here are going through these intense, like I have had different formations of what I would call an upgrade, but these were like intense. Like I've never had amnesia to the point where I was like, I don't even know what planet I'm on. I don't even know what city I'm in. It was like I got fully rebooted. I could feel it. It's like I could feel my brain coming back online and telling the rest and telling my soul where I was. It was weird because it was like my soul, because your soul's ever present, right? It doesn't matter what suit you're in, what body you're in. But you know, all of the, you know, the synapses that are coming from our visual optic nerve is telling our brain, or our brain is telling our soul what's up, like what the soul's perceiving, so to speak, on the external. That's why when people are like, oh, can I find God externally? No, because really realistically, the soul, the eternal version of you, that's what I mean about like Alzheimer's and dementia and all that. If you strip away all the memories, you strip everything of yourself, that innate who you are, the I am, is still present. It's like you could be in the most foreign situation and seemingly it would seem like that in an Alzheimer situation where you're like so disheveled all the time. But who you are in the I am still exists, because obviously you can function, obviously you can eat, obviously you can, you know, smells, you know, those are all synapses that your optic nerve, your nasal nerves, your earlobe, they're all connected to the brain. So it's really the brain that's telling you what the outside world looks like. The soul is what is eternal. The soul is what perceives all of it. And I can honestly say I felt like I was being rebooted. It was like my soul was asking my brain the question, where am I? And I was literally on the floor, letting all of the brain come back, like reboot up again, and then go and tell my soul what's up. Oh, this is the story that you are a woman in Toronto living on planet Earth. You're X amount of years. You have a son. You have a mother. It was like everything was getting re-downloaded into my system so that I could figure out what the programming was that I was existing with. And if you don't know what I mean by programming, that's how it kind of felt. It was like C:// DOS / Windows was uploading again. The program was uploading again so I could tell myself who I am again. But the soul was just sitting there like, where am I? What is going on? Because the soul's eternal. The soul doesn't need a destination. The soul doesn't need a place. And the soul just is. The I am just is. So it's like the program has to tell the soul, hey, this is what you're playing in. This is the play you're participating in at the moment. So this is my theoretics on time, and I thought I'd hang out and kill some time with you all because I love you guys. And if you guys have any questions or you want to kick back some ideas at me, I am not a theoretical physicist. I just perceive things in the job that I do and the life that I've lived and the different situationals, you know what I'm saying? But I think like time is such an illusion, but at the same time we all perceive it as an existence, ever flowing, eternal now. Love you lots. Love you long time. Love you long time, you know. me know. Anyways, have a great time. Have a great night. Have a great weekend, wherever you may be. And it's time to talk about time. Ciao for now.